Okay, boys and girls, start taking your bets now. So they called the tuk-tuk in, and I'm getting a tuk-tuk evacuation to the local clinic because we're trying to figure out what the hell is going on with my feet. Well, not my foot, my feet. So that's my normal foot. Normal foot, that. And if you're asking, what happened? Did you get bit? No, I did not seem to get bit. So all looks good. Did you get hit by something? Did you get run over by a tuk-tuk? I can say I have not been drinking at all since I've been here. So no, I don't remember getting hit by a tuk-tuk, and I don't believe I did. Basically, there's no real reason it seems like it should be swollen this way. So it got swollen this way yesterday, and I figured, okay, maybe it's just a normal thing. Try to walk it off, you know, whatever. And then I just took off my socks after going to lunch, and as you can see, nice dark blood is coming out from a little scratch that really shouldn't have blood coming out of it. So I'm now putting on my socks and my sandals, and I'm gonna be giving you folks the real Thailand experience. Other people show you beaches and mountains and temples. I'm gonna show you a clinic.
It doesn't look as swollen as yesterday.
Yeah, it does. It looks more swollen. That's my wife trying to say, it looks better. No, it doesn't. Anyways, we're sitting here waiting for the emergency tuk-tuk, and I just had an interesting realization. So I walked all the way back from lunch and wasn't limping at all. Walked perfectly fine. And then as soon as I take my sock off, as soon as I see that my foot looks worse, then when I come out to get on the tuk-tuk, all of a sudden I'm limping. Now there's no change. It's been like 5 minutes. The difference is all in my mind. 1 minute, I didn't think there was a problem with my foot. Wasn't limping at all. The next minute, I think there's a problem with my foot. And all of a sudden, oh, I gimpy. Oh, I gimpy. Oh, I gimpy. So again, just one of those little random lessons in life. Another random lesson in life is, seriously, tuk-tuks are everywhere. And now this one is taking like 20 minutes to get here. Anyways, see you guys at the clinic. Oh, I thought that was a tuk-tuk. Yeah, I don't know. Tuk-tuks have been like tracking us down. They've been like hounding us for the past 2 days. You like walk 2 feet and you get another tuk-tuk. And yet now that I need one. My wife is telling me things. Okay guys, turn the emergency sirens on. Let's get this thing going. Bike's going faster than us. There's a paramedic, and there's the assistant. So we're at the state-of-the-art, the YouTube clinic right now. I don't know about you, but it gives me confidence. Come on, the other. Okay, so we are now leaving the clinic and going to the hospital because we had a very nice doctor who basically looked at it and said, oh, pain? And I said, no pain. And then said, oh, itching? I was like, well, a little itching. He's like, oh, okay, inject. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to inject? Inject. He's like, what are you injecting me with? Oh, maybe you should go to hospital. It's like, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna go to the hospital. One thing when you're in a foreign country and they say they're going to inject you with something, again, as I always say, you're not the victim. This is a two-party agreement. If you do not trust that they're injecting you with something that you should have, go to the fucking hospital. So that is where we're going now, and hopefully it'll A, be a little less scary, and B, have somebody that understands a word other than inject. So we are in the ambulance tuk-tuk right now, but also one of the life lessons. This wasn't a lesson until I decided to do it randomly. But the tuk-tuk driver, when they dropped us off, said, do you want us to wait? First it was like, well, who cares? And I was like, you know what? Even if he charges us to wait a little bit, that's probably worth the money just to be able to easily get back to the house. So what's really nice now is, yes, we're going to pay him a little extra money, but we were literally able to walk out of the clinic straight into the tuk-tuk driver that we already trusted and have him take us to the hospital. So again, to have a tuk-tuk driver wait when you go to a clinic or a hospital may cost you an extra few baht or even a few hundred baht. But you know what? When your foot looks like that, paying a few hundred baht just for a little bit of peace of mind isn't a bad thing. Alright, so we're officially at the hospital. open air hospital. Side. I miss America right now. So we're still sitting here in the hospital waiting. I have no idea how long. That's a funny thing when you give up your smartphone. No, not me. Your smartphone and your watch. It's like you sit here and you're like, huh, could be 5 minutes, could be 20 minutes, don't know. I was just sitting here thinking about my little foot. My swollen foot. And I was talking to my wife about it. And I am starting to wonder if Thailand is trying to tell me something. Because when you think about it, I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I've had a lot of adventures. I've had a lot of places where I've walked out without a scratch, without a single scratch. And then I come to Thailand, and well, there's the last time I was at Thailand, and now I've been here for about 6 days. And you just kind of wonder. You kind of wonder, is the monkey god trying to tell me something? This is how superstitions get started. But anyways, we're just sitting here, and I literally have nothing to do but wait. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, so it is whatever the hell time it is, and I'm officially being admitted to the Thai hospital. Yay! I sat there talking to the doctor, and I'm like, really? Admitted? And he said, oh, it growing quickly. It growing fast. Yes, we admitting you. I'm like, okay, well then. So, it's kind of funny. I really wish I'd been able to videotape this whole experience, because let me tell you, an American going to a Thai, hospital, this should be its own show. It was like hilarious so far, if it wasn't for like my bloated ass foot. But anyways, keep you folks up today. Yes, the nurses.
They're giggling about your height because they couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, they couldn't figure it out. They said, "What's your height?" And I said, 5 feet 9 inches. And they're like, "Wow." Anyways, so we're just sitting here, getting admitted to Thailand. I have no idea why. Again, I did not hurt my foot. I did not get a bug bite, and yet I'm getting admitted to a hospital. I think the monster is telling me something. I think the UK is looking very good this time of year. Going home. I assume that this is a pain chart, but this is about the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It goes from black to red, orange, all the way to green, and then to white. You're feeling good because you're no longer alive. You're a ghost. Going home in style. So, boys, girls, lady boys, and other, it appears that I'm on bed rest for about a week now, and I have had an official Thailand experience. Yeah, motherfuckers. Yeah, motherfuckers. How many people go to a real Thai public hospital? Holy crap. If more people went to a real Thai public hospital, believe me, less people will be asking for free insurance. It was really funny, like going to the hospital, because at the end of it, we had this really cute nurse. And when I say she was a really cute nurse, she was a really cute nurse because it was so obvious she had these braces on, like these bright pink or whatever rubber bands. And she was like, most people understand this isn't a private hospital. Understand this isn't a private hospital. This is a free hospital. This is a free hospital. She was trying to explain to me to understand that in Thailand, that's a free hospital. That if you want that upper class care, you go to the private hospital. But I do have to say, I was taken to the hospital. I was admitted to the hospital. I was given an IV drip in the hospital. Plus I was given meds. Plus I was given, ooh, look at this, a goodie bag. See, fucking Linus Tech Tips doesn't do unboxings like this. So I was given clindamycin. I was given clindamycin, a shit ton of clindamycin. I was given a crap ton of ciprofloxacin. I was given tramadol. And I was given paracetamol. Plus I was admitted, plus I got care, plus they took blood work and all that kind of stuff. And that came out to a grand total of 720 baht. Which if you've been doing the calculations, that's about $22 for all of that stuff. Even had an IV. So that's a good thing. So as far as price is concerned, that's a good thing. Thank crikey I did not have to stay the night at that place though. Because you get in there and like the medical beds that they have look like they're from the 50s. Like not haha, they're from the 50s. Like no, seriously, these look like they're from the 50s. They have boards under them. And then on top of the boards is like a mattress about that thick, which basically feels like a soft board. And then they give you a pillow, and the pillow is about that thick, that feels like a softer board. And then they give you a fan. And the reason they give you the fan is the hospital is open to the air. The entire place, well, basically the entire place is open to the air. Like when you walk in and the initial waiting room is open to the air, then you go to a different room where they kind of do the triage type stuff. And that's actually air conditioned. So I was like, yay! But then they take me to the actual ward, like the ward where they wanted me to spend the night. And again, not to sound too lame as an American, oh, they want me to spend the night. This is the place where they had everybody. Like you go in there and you see some fucked up people. And this is where they stayed. And it's basically, like I say, it's completely open to the air. They give you a fan. They give you a desk fan to put beside your bed. And they give you a gown. And you just sit there and you're just like, oh my crikey. Oh, please get me the hell out of there. So they weren't really sure what was going on with my foot. So if you haven't been keeping up, so this is what my feet look like right now. So this is what we call a good foot. And this is what we call a bad foot. And so this foot started swelling a little bit yesterday, but it was just swollen like right here. But for like no apparent reason, right? So I don't have a bed bite. I don't have a snake bite. I don't have a snake bite. I didn't get hit by anything, like literally nothing. I haven't drunk. I haven't had an ounce of alcohol since I've been here. Haven't done any drugs. Haven't done it. So it's not like I did it in the middle of the night, right? So nothing that I know of happened to it. And so it swelled that much yesterday. And then today it swelled up a little bit more. And then what happened was I had a little scratch underneath here. And when I took my sock off after my wife and I came, or after I came back from lunch, I pulled my sock off and it was literally oozing blood. So not losing, like I'm used to like on my foot, it'll ooze lymph or something every once in a while just because I scratch it. But this was actually oozing like dark blood. At which point I was like, oh, that can't be good. You can see how swollen the damn thing's got, right? So I was like, okay, that's not good. And what my wife was really concerned about is this whole deep vein thrombosis thing. The idea is when you fly, especially when you fly long distances, since we did just fly all the way from the US, what happens is a deep vein thrombosis is you can get a blood clot down here in your feet for whatever reason. That's not the problem. What the problem is after you start moving, that blood clot will release and then will go, and if it goes to your lungs, it's a pulmonary, is it aneurysm? Pulmonary, whatever. And then that hurts like hell. And then it can actually go to your, if a blood clot like goes into your heart, that basically kills your ass. So that's what my wife was really concerned about. But we went there. So we left here, and then we went to the clinic. And oh my golly, that clinic. Oh my golly. You want to know anything scarier than a free hospital? Clinic in Thailand. We get in there, so I had a little videotape there. Then we go in to see the doctor, right? He's this Chinese looking guy, and he has like his lunch in front of him, and he has his TV on, and then I'm sitting there, and he's like, oh, okay, let me see your foot. And then he sees the foot. And he's like, okay, does it hurt? I was like, well, no, it doesn't hurt. Does it itch? I was like, well, no, it doesn't itch, but I've been having a lot of like heat rash. So I was like, but I do have heat rash. He's like, okay, we'll, what did he say? Sticky or whatever, we'll basically he just don't what is it? Oh, I need to look back at the video. But he wanted to give me he just basically all he said was that he wanted to give me a shot. He was like, we're gonna give you a shot. I'm like, what are you going to give me a shot of? We're going to give you a shot. What of? We're going to give you a shot. What do you think my problem is? We're gonna give you a shot. Fuck. And again, as I tell you people in life, all business transactions are two-sided. All business transactions are two-sided. If you think the little guy across the table is a nut job, get the fuck up and go, which is what I did. Because I was looking at it, and the thing is, like with this could have been 3 problems. This could have been deep vein thrombosis, which is a blood clot, which has ways that it has to be dealt with. Very, very dangerous. This could be an allergic reaction. If it's an allergic reaction, then it's like steroids and that kind of stuff to get rid of the allergic reaction. Or if it's what it is now, this is a bacterial infection, and therefore it needs antibiotics. And so what I'm pretty sure they want to give me is, I think he wanted to give me like steroids and like some kind of Benadryl type stuff for an allergic reaction. And that's not what this is. This is a bacterial thing. And so that's where I was like, no, look, you're not even paying attention. You're barely even looking at my foot. We can barely even communicate. You're not telling me what you're giving me. No. He's like, well, you can go to the hospital. I'm like, I'm going to the hospital. The nice part, I do have to say, the nice part, they didn't even charge me. So that's a good thing. So we went to the hospital. We sat down. It was so funny. Like, nobody understood. Nobody understood. We're like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And then what was funny, so we go in there, and then I sit down, and then we go up, and then there's another, so we go into the main triage area, and I sit down in front of the doctor. I'm like, doctor. And he's like looking at it, and he's like, okay, we're going to admit you. Like, motherfucker, you're gonna what? You're gonna admit me? No. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, it's growing. It's expanding fast and it looks bad. Yeah, we're going to admit you. And then I'm sitting there like, okay. Well, how bad can being admitted to a Thai hospital be? And then I got in my little, they put me, it was cool. I've never been in a wheelchair before. They put me in a little wheelchair and they scooted me up to my little midden area. And then I was in there and I was just like, oh, this has got to be horrible. I just looked around. I was like, what? You want me to be here 24 hours at least? No. And then Lord help me. Then Lord help me if like 24 hours wasn't enough, right? I was like, so they take me in there and then they give me my stuff. And I'm just like, oh. Golly, right? And like people can barely speak English, and so I get in there and I put on my little stupid like green, my green like the whatever clothes you put on your scrubs or whatever, and I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, oh no. And then the nurses come, and so they start asking me questions, and that's a whole thing, like trying to answer medical questions to people who barely understand English. And then it was really funny because I didn't realize, I guess the only hospital here is this public hospital. And it was really funny, like to see the look and the expression on these nurses' faces, because then they're sitting there like, oh, what do you do for a living? And I say, information technology. And basically she scribbles something down. I'm like, yeah, you didn't know what I just said. And then she's like, oh, what is your salary? I'm like, salary? What is your salary? And I was like, oh, in order to get admitted. And I told her, I was like, well, $100,000 a year, let's say. And you could just see the look on her face, like, oh. And she went, bah, 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 bah. And the person beside her is like, oh, you can pay. I'm like, oh, golly, should I have just said that? But, then they give me the IV, and then I was worried, because I'm already worried, and then the cute little nurse comes up, the cute little nurse with braces, and she goes to give me an IV, and I'm already looking at this IV bag. I've never had an IV in my life. 39 years old, never had an IV, never been admitted to the hospital. I'm looking at this IV bag, and just like, Christ. Thailand is telling me something here. So she goes and she starts to give me the needle for the IV, and then she's just drilling oil. She's just drilling oil, as they say. And then she's like, oh, I can't get it. And then I look at her, and I've got good veins. Like, the one thing that I have is good veins. It's like, what? I have beautiful veins. I've had nurses say, damn, these are nice veins. And you're drilling for oil. Anyways, and then she had an older person come over, and she fucking just shoves that whole thing in. I'm like, and they start to drip on. So I'm sitting there, like, okay, well, how's this gonna go? And then the doctor comes over, and this is the first time in my life I understood the feeling that old people have when young doctors come over. Because I look at this young doctor, and it's like, if this kid is like 26, I would be shocked. And he's like, again, barely trying to speak. And then we're trying to go through the whole thing. And I'm just like, oh my golly. One, I'm in Thailand. Two, I have a doctor that can barely shave. Oh, what's going to happen to me? And so he sits there and he pokes and he prods and then he goes away and then somebody comes and takes my blood and all that kind of stuff. But then at the end he comes back and he goes, yeah, it's cellulitis, which is, like I say, this bacterial infection of the skin. So he gave me these meds that I now have to take for a week. Yay, and stay off my feet in Thailand. So that is about where we are now. Then it was funny, that cute. They gave me another nurse, and I had to follow the little nurse all the way through the hospital, going through all these different little stations. And it was funny, like different hand gestures. Like whenever she wanted us to come towards her, she always went like this. She'd be like, and we're like, oh, okay, sit down. And so we'd like stay seated down. And then she's like, I'm like, well, what do you want? It's like, oh, you want me to come there? It is funny too. Like I said, these little hand gestures, like come, stay. Well, apparently that was come to her. Anyways. But yeah, went there. But I do have to say, anybody who wants free hospital care should come to Thailand and just go to and get admitted to a hospital. Get admitted to a free hospital and just see how they like it. Though it is better than nothing. But it is. You get in there and you're like, ooh. A lot of Americans would lose their damn mind if they saw this thing. Just again, it looks like something out of like, some kind of like World War II scenario. You go in there and there's 10 beds lined up basically side by side per 10 beds here, 10 beds here with a hallway in the middle and back open to the world, and you're just like, oh, what have I gotten myself into? So I'm not really sure how this whole Thailand trip is gonna go. As I've been telling my wife, it sounds like a joke, but it really isn't quite a joke at this point, where I'm starting to think Thailand is telling me something. I'm starting to think Thailand is telling me something. Last time I was here, I was damn near half beaten to death. The only time in my life, as an adult, I have been on the losing side of an altercation was in Thailand. And I was really on the fucking losing side. I was so on the losing side of that altercation, I don't even remember the altercation, right? And that was the last time I was here. And now I've been here 6 days, and I've already been admitted to the hospital. And I have like this heat rash to high hell and back. It's just really, really horrible. Because again, like when we looked at the temperature coming in here, it's supposed to be maxing out at like 100 degrees. It's like max at 100. So 90 to 100. 90 to 100, basically 24 hours a day is hot. Don't get me wrong, that's hot. But since we've been here, it's been over 100, I think almost every single day. Like I say, 101, 104, 105, plus the heat index. And again, tomorrow in Sukhothai, where we're supposed to go, it's supposed to be 110 degrees. Not heat index. That's not a heat index of 110 Fahrenheit. That is 110 Fahrenheit. Plus whatever the fuck the humidity is. So I don't know. We may start doing this whole adventure from the UK. I've been saying that to my wife today. I was just like, you know what? The UK is beautiful this time of year. I'm just saying. Because, yeah. Because, yeah, for all the things that Thailand may be great for, as a place that I want to recuperate for anything, this is not exactly one of them. It's not like, hey, let's go to Thailand to recuperate from something. So we shall see, because I am a little concerned, because like I said, I've got the foot now, I've got heat rash, and again, even on my foot, I don't know if you can see it in this light, but you see how you got all this heat rash? I've got like heat rash just everywhere, right? I've got heat rash, can you see it here? I got heat rash in my hands, I've got heat rash on both of my hands really badly. I've been like using calamine lotion the way that most people use sunscreen. It's even been going up my arm and all that kind of stuff. So, I've talked about before that whole thing where I stopped eating garlic and onions. Like, you could take Prilosec, you could take antacids, because if I eat garlic and onion and then I take antacids, that theoretically makes it better. But realistically, it's the body trying to tell you something. I am starting to wonder here if the body is trying to tell me something, because my body is just not happy. Literally. I have never been admitted to a hospital in my life. I've never had an IV before in my life. Fucking 6 fucking days back in Thailand, I'm in a public hospital. And although this is a joke, this is one of those things, it's like, oh, hee hee, oh, ha ha, funny. I went to a hospital over this, but apparently, if I didn't get the antibiotics, this is one of those things where, like, if you don't get it treated, it actually can become lethal type of deal. It's like I say, it's a bacterial infection under the skin. And what I think happened is under here, I had some of that heat rashy type stuff, so I had scratched it. And then just being, this part of the world, I guess when I scratched it, I must have gotten something in there that then went to the underlying tissue and all that kind of stuff. So again, this is one of those things in life where you sit, you look at it, you laugh at it, you go, oh, well, that's not really that big a deal. What are you making a big deal out of? But it's kind of one of those, whether this is a big deal or a small deal, really simply comes down to how soon you get it treated. So hopefully with these meds, we'll get this damn thing treated up and it'll be fine. But apparently it is the type of thing that can cause all kinds of havoc. So that's my thought. I was gonna do this whole video on YouTube as therapy today. I've been thinking about this whole video about YouTube as therapy. I thought about it yesterday and I think about today, and that's what I was going to do today. Then I went to the hospital. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm trying to decide right now. My wife and I have to figure out, because we already have the bus ticket. We have first class bus ticket to Sukhothai tomorrow, which is 5 hours north of here. It's another very beautiful historic area. And I already have three nights at the hotel there. But again, it's kind of like a historic area. It's like this. Like you go there to walk. I'm not allowed to walk for a week. And here's the thing, right? It's one thing to be like, oh, I'm a man, I'm not allowed to walk, but you know how that is. Well, here's the thing, I'm a married man. I'm a married man, and you know how that is. Doctor says you can't walk for 7 days. Motherfucker, oh, bam. She will put your ass down. You are not walking. So I'm trying to figure out, because again, this is just not going well for me. This is just, again, you probably can't see it, but I am just covered head to toe in this heat rash. And I've already been to the hospital for cellulitis. And again, I think the spaghetti monster speak. Again, that's the whole thing. Everybody's like, Eli, I just wish the spaghetti monster would speak to me. I just wish there would be that one perfect moment in time when I knew exactly what the monster wanted from me. And as I always say, your head is so full of religion, there's no room for monster. I'm thinking the monster is talking to me. I think the monster is screaming his bejesus ass off right now, trying to smack me with a stick. So, I don't know. I have to figure it out. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to drink some water and sit here in the air conditioning and figure it out. Because it's yeah. Because it's not going to get any cooler. That's the whole thing, being in Southeast Asia too. This isn't if you're in Europe, right? If we had Eurail pass, Italy is hot as hell, but then you could go up to Denmark or even up to Poland or something. Wouldn't be too bad. But that's the thing. All of Southeast Asia is just balls fucking hot, right? All the way from Krabi to Chiang Rai is freaking hot. There's a difference. There's a 5-degree difference. You know what I'm saying? Like Chiang Mai, Sukhothai tomorrow is going to be 110 degrees, and Chiang Mai is going to be 105 degrees. So yes, there is a difference. Eli, it's cooler. It's cooler in Chiang Mai. Yes, you are correct. It is 5 degrees cooler. But again, 110 versus 105. Right? Oh my God. The life of Eli. We shall see. But this is how it goes, and this is how adventure goes sometimes. Sometimes it's really cool, sexy, and exciting, and other times you scratch an itch on your foot and give yourself a horrible infection that sends you to the hospital. What are you gonna do? That's a question, though. That is actually a very, very good question. That's what I have to figure out right now. So let me let you guys go, and I'm going to sit here and meditate on what to do next, because yeah, it's kind of like with that doctor, kind of sticky. What did he say? Sticky. I had it on the thing. Sticky, pokey, punctury. He was saying something. And I told him to go away. I'm going to the hospital. But again, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing about being an adult. The one, there's a couple of lessons I'd like you folks to learn. Again, like I'm like Eckhart Tolle. If you ever go watch Eckhart Tolle, he's gonna say like three things. He gives like three pieces of advice. One is the only moment you have is now. Two is you can't suffer enough to make another person happy. And the third one is something else. If you ever watch Eckhart Tolle, basically it is like 13 frickin' hours of him explaining those three concepts 1,000 different ways. And what's really funny is at the end of the seminar, you still have people. But what about the starving kids in Africa? And he looks at them. Can you feed the starving kids in Africa? No. Well, then why suffer for the starving kids in Africa? But they're starving. God, yeah, right. But yeah, so one of the big points that I'm trying to get across in your folks' heads across the board is remember, you control your own life. You make the decisions. When some weird Chinese doc in the box wants to poke you and you don't think it's an appropriate solution, you can walk out. The same is true as if your foot swells up like a frickin' football and you're getting all kinds of heat rash and all that kind of stuff. Just because the plan was to be in this area of the world for 6 weeks, just because you have been really dying to see Angkor Wat for like fucking like 11 years, you know, sometimes the monster is talking to you, right? Sometimes it's not that the monster isn't talking to you. Sometimes it's just you're too arrogant to listen. Right? And that is the big way you become successful in life is just listening. Just listening. But anyways, with that, I really do. Fuck, what am I gonna do? Because Bangkok's a major airport. So if we are gonna leave, Bangkok's where you want to be. And Sukhothai is basically, and that's the thing, Sukhothai is literally 5 or 6 hours straight north. Yeah. I don't know. Again, when doing these vlogs, here's the reality of these vlogs. Here's a big, I don't know what the answers are all the time. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. So anyways, let me go and do some research and figure out what the hell I'm gonna do.